The New York Knicks are hiding a hidden gem on their team, and he fits perfectly into the offense that Mike Brown will be running with the New York Knicks, while Knicks fans across the board have started to worry about their most hyped up prospect that they've brought on in the last few years, and we are going to break all this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys are part of that 67% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Knicks updates. The Summer League is officially underway. We're going to have a bunch of content regarding that. While free agency still finishes up, the Knicks have two more contracts to go over, and there is a lot with those two contracts that is going to happen, including a positional battle, which we will get into tomorrow as well. And we're going to break all this down. We're going to jump right into things. Guys, it's official. Summer League is here for the New York Knicks, and we've seen multiple players already find the spotlight while Mike Brown is the new coach of the team, and we'll be watching closely as this does have a huge implication for the Knicks roster and rotations. Now, in regards to the rotations, I'm not going to pretend like the Knicks aren't a team that's trying to win the NBA Finals and are chock full of veterans. I mean, we know that Mike Brown is likely going to run a 10-man bench rotation because that's what he did for the most part in Sacramento. So, with that in mind, imagining they'll run a 10-man bench rotation, there's a lot of questions whether who's going to be starting and who's going to be off the bench. I know the vast majority of us, myself included, do not want Josh Hart in the starting lineup. So for the purpose of this, I am going to count him as a bench player and count Mitchell Robinson as a starter because that's what I frankly want this man right here to do. But it is very possible Josh Hart does end up starting, and I want to make that very clear. I'm not saying I want him to. I'm just saying that it is possible. Now, imagining the Knicks do start the best lineup they have, which is Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson. Say they use that as their lineup, and this could be switched around. Josh Hart could start over Mitch. Deuce McBride could start over Mitch. So there's a few different moves here, but say it is Mitchell Robinson starting. The Knicks bench is small. You have Deuce McBride, you have Jordan Clarkson, you have Josh Hart as your three best bench players, and you also have Gershon Yabusele, who, despite the fact that he is a power forward size-wise, he can play center because of how hard he fights down low, and he is a very good rebounder as well. But the Knicks also do have Ariel Hukporti, who's going to be a huge part of this, and we are going to talk about Hukporti in another video. But right now, it's very clear the Knicks are hiding a hidden gem on this team in regards to Pakome Doier. Doier went out into Summer League and showed that he is not messing around. He did not really get any opportunities to play last year. He wasn't viewed as a project picked 25th overall by the Knicks. And frankly, when he was selected by the Knicks, it became very clear that there was one thing in mind. He might not even come over. And he did. He came over, he came in, and he was on the Knicks roster, but he literally never played. He did play in the first game of the season. On opening night, Tom Thibodeau did put him in, and that was basically the most we ever saw Doier step in. Now, Doier showed a lot of potential in a few different ways. He showed he could shoot the ball. He showed he actually played solid defense, and his defense was very much viewed as questionable when he was going into the NBA draft. His comparison for a ceiling was Michael Porter Jr., who is not a good defender. However, Doier showed that he's more of a two-way player than meets the eye, and he once again showed that with the Knicks in Summer League. Now, looking at the Knicks in their Summer League adventures, and obviously the Sirens are back, wouldn't be a Knicks Digest video without one, Pakome Doier had one of his best showings in a New York Knicks uniform, whether that's Summer League, the G League, or the NBA, and he shot 8 for 13, shooting 1 for 3 from 3. Now, one of Dodier's biggest issues was the shooting efficiency, well, or I should say the shooting inefficiency, because the man was not efficient with his shots last year, in whatever level you want to talk about, dating back to Summer League. Now, Doier put up 17 points in this span. He was scoring the ball well. He did turn the ball over a few times, had a few boneheaded turnovers. One of them was a travel. One of them he effectively set the most blatant moving screen of all time. But he also had an excellent block. On top of that, he sent the ball off the backboard like there was no tomorrow. He came out of nowhere for a chase down block. Showed the athleticism, showed the ability to shoot the ball well. I know he only made 1 3, but it was a quick trigger contested look that he knocked down in the corner. Those are shots that Mike Brown specifically, as the head coach of this team, is going to be looking for with this New York Knicks unit. So it's good to see that Doier was doing that. And as our friends New York Basketball did mention, or our friend New York Basketball did mention, not our friends, he's one guy, he mentioned that Pakome Doier in the first game of the Knicks Summer League had a team-high 17 points, going 8 for 13 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and he did this all in 25 minutes, so good numbers from Doier. Now, obviously, he's still a long way off. This is not something that's going to be finished off tomorrow. I am seeing some... Whenever there's Twitter notifications while I'm on a video and it's over the summer and free agency's going, I do have to check my phone throughout. I'm not getting distracted. We're still here to talk about Doier, who's been absolutely very good. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, Knicks fans agreed. Let's just take a bigger look at this. Now, Chris Persianen did mention it was a nice game for Doier, and he's got way more comfortable as the game went on as well. So he's showing that he's growing throughout his time, and he's been in the NBA for a year now, or on an NBA roster, I should say, for a year now. So he is showing some improvement. And as our buddy James Ryder from Let's Talk Knicks did mention, so the Knicks played poorly in their first Summer League game, losing 86-104. Seems like the player fans are most excited about, though, is Pakome Doier, who had a nice outing, and now he said 14 points. It was 17. Damn it, James. No, James can do whatever he wants. He's the best. But he did say that he would be satisfied if he kept that leg up the next 3 games. And then he mentioned that, or both State from Harlem mentioned that Tibbs didn't play either Tyler Kolek or Pakome Doier all season, while Ron Holland played 81 games. He looked way more comfortable out there because you have to play your draft picks. Now, here's the one thing that he didn't mention, which I do think is important to put out here, and I know this is not always the case because the NBA draft, outside of the top 3, is pretty much a dice roll entirely. But Ron Holland was a, he was 5th, 6th overall? Doier was 25th? It's a big difference. So, Kolek was 2nd round, so it's a little different. Pistons weren't good up until this last year. The Knicks were a good team. They're not going to just throw in Doier. Given their bench sucked, they should have played their rookies more. I'm not debating that, but I am saying, take it easy. But Doier is someone who we should be excited about, 100%. And James Edwards did write about Doier and a few other players when talking about Summer League before it happened. And he said, Doier will turn 20 shortly after Summer League comes to a close. By no means does he have to be close to a finished product anytime soon. However, I think it's important for him to show progress sooner rather than later so the franchise can feel comfortable investing real reps into him during a championship or bust season. Injuries are going to happen, and Doier is going to find his way into the rotation because Mike Brown actually plays players, including his rookies. Now, Edwards also mentioned that there is stuff worth looking deeper into, but Doier needs to use the Summer League to show that he can do things consistently. He only played in 18 games last year for the Knicks in fewer than 115 minutes, so there is very little to take from his experience with the main ball club. In the G League, where he played significantly more, he had an underwhelming shooting numbers. The 19-year-old shot 40.6% from the field and 31.9% from 3 in 3 and 14 games with from 3 in 14 games from Westchester, excuse me. Again, he's a teenager and doesn't need to be perfect, but given that he had already played professional basketball in a respectable league before getting drafted, you would like to see some more consistency in the G League. The 6'7" Doier, along with Kevin McCullough, may have the easiest pathway to minutes for the young players because of the way the team's made, and teams are always looking for 3-and-D wings, which Kevin McCullough is not. McCullough's not a 3-and-D wing. He's more like a Josh Hart type, so that's important to note as well. But yeah, Doier's numbers in the G League weren't bad. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, solid numbers. However, when we look deeper, when we look at the whole situation that's going down, where basically Doier is just sort of struggling to get that efficiency up, we saw that today. We saw good numbers from Doier shooting the ball. I think that's a huge sign, and he also continued to grow more confidently. And by the way, just so we know this in regards to Pakome, first of all, he is a project, which I have to keep reminding everyone of because it's not going to be perfect instantly. But also, Mike Brown, Leon Rose, William Wesley, Karl-Anthony Towns, his dad, Mikal Bridges, and Deuce McBride were all sitting courtside. Pressure is on. It's not just the Summer League. Pacome's playing in front of the guy who drafted him, the other guy who drafted him, and his coach, his new coach, who he hasn't played a game under yet or practiced under yet. That is a pressuring situation for someone who's 19 years old and did not play NBA basketball last season after being drafted. So already you're like, damn, why am I not playing at all? Why am I never getting reps? Why is my coach not playing me? However, he could take solace in his other rookie teammates. Kevin McCullough a little bit different. He was injured the whole time basically because of that knee injury. However, Huck Porty, Kolek, same deal. They did not play, and that's on Tibbs, no doubt about it. Given the Knicks were also a contending team, you play the veterans over the young guys when you are a contending team. But still, Doier got no minutes after being a first-round pick. He played the least minutes of any first-round pick in the NBA last season. That's going to get to him because I can hang, but he's got to prove it, and it's not easy to prove it. So he looked really good today. I'm really happy with the way Pakome took command and took control of this game. I think we should really take something away with that. However, there's also something else we should take away. That's that Tyler Kolek has Knicks fans very concerned about what the future looks like for him. Now, Kolek was the most hyped up prospect on the Knicks throughout all last season. Knicks fans are constantly calling for Kolek to play, and I was one of them. I believe heavily in Kolek. I still do. Going to Marquette and playing for a few years there, he was a transfer there. He did play 5 years in college. He was great at Marquette. He was phenomenal. I have two of my best friends in the world went to Marquette. They said he was awesome also. My friend who is a big basketball fan who went there said there is a lot of Jalen Brunson-esque to his game. He also actually once saw Tyler Kolek in a bar, and Kolek was not doing great. He was a little out of it. But I shouldn't have said that, but it's fine. Kolek's not going to see this. And also, we've all been there. We've all been there. But look, when it comes down to it, the Knicks need Kolek to be better. And he did not look comfortable. And I do blame Tom Thibodeau for not playing him. I think Steve from Harlem's right about that. Because there was moments where you could have played Kolek more, and Tibbs just decided not to because Kolek can't play defense. And I get the argument, but still, you got to play him at some points. Now, Kolek didn't have a great game, but in the G League, he looked great. 18 points and 10 assists with 4.5 rebounds. What we're not showing is the awful efficiency from shooting as well with Kolek. Now, Kolek's shooting efficiency was not great tonight either. The man who did start at point guard and played the most minutes of anyone because he had a great summer league last year, went 0 for 5 from 3 and 4 for 11 from the field. Now, his 2-point attempts, yeah, they did well. He also grabbed 6 rebounds. He got 8 assists. He put up 10 points. It wasn't a bad game per se, but he didn't fully look comfortable. Turned the ball over 5 times as well. There were issues with Kolek's game that showed that he doesn't look ready right now, and considering he's 24 years old, it's time to be a little bit aware of it. I don't want to say concerned. I'm just saying store it in your head for the next couple of games. Given he hasn't played in a while, it might take a minute, but still, keep in the back of your mind. Keep in the back of your mind that Kolek didn't have a great game because it could be a sign of something else to come. Now, Edwards also did talk about Kolek, saying, as far as true point guards go, Kolek is the only one on the Knicks bench at this point in the offseason. Now, this was before Jordan Clarkson signed. However, at the same time, it is something to be aware of because Clarkson's not really a true point guard at all, and neither is Deuce McBride. But Kolek will be a solid pro one day, according to Edwards, and I do still agree. I think Kolek's going to get there. But there is work to be done for the 24-year-old guard, and Kolek played under 300 minutes last year as a rookie, which is not enough time to make any sweeping conclusions about how he projects long-term. However, when Kolek was on the floor, he did a good job of running the offense and setting up his teammates. He finished with 70 assists and 18 turnovers in 41 games, albeit it was a small sample size. On top of that, in Las Vegas, Edwards said, I want to see Kolek create and hunt his own shot. I know he can pass and do point guard things. In today's NBA, it's hard to be successful as a lead guard without being a threat to score. Kolek's 70 assists as a rookie was slightly under the number of shot attempts. He took an 82. In college, Kolek averaged a hair over 15 points as a senior. He took 11 shots per game while still averaging nearly 8 assists. He has that balance somewhere in there. It's there. It's possible that Kolek's lack of shot attempts last season was a product of doing what the coaching staff asked of him. It's also possible that the rookie just didn't want to use his limited playing time to be ultra aggressive as a scorer and potentially upset his coach. I have been pretty clear that I'm not the biggest fan of the Mike Brown hiring. I don't think it's the worst hiring in the world. I think he's better than Tibbs. But man, am I happy Mike Brown's the coach right now because he plays young guys. Davion Mitchell got a ton of minutes as a rookie. And again, lottery pick. What, 7th overall, something like that? Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think I am wrong. He might have been later, like 10th. But lottery pick. Second half of the lottery. I know that. When it comes down to it, I'm just happy that the Knicks are going to have a coach who plays young guys. Because clearly these guys, I don't want to say their growth was stunted permanently. And I do know that Tibbs has done this with a lot of players and it's worked out a lot. All Deuce, Quentin Grimes. But who's to say they weren't ready day one? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. So, all this being said, I do think the Knicks have a hidden gem in Doier. I've been a fan of him since they drafted him. I am being a homer. I didn't know who he was until he got drafted. But still, I am now a fan. I've looked into Doier a lot. I do think he has the stuff. He can defend. He can shoot the ball. He can create his own shot. He's 6'7". I want to see Doier get real minutes in the season. Man, this video is long. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the discussion on the first Summer League game. We got a lot of Summer League content along with a bunch of other stuff as well coming out tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and every day until the season begins. Then we're back on Knicks in-season content once again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this nearly 15 minutes of Knicks basketball breakdowns. If you didn't, you could tell me to go take this White Claw and crush it over my head. And if you did, thank you so much. Consider subscribing, considering becoming a channel member where you will get to hang out with me and Matt on live streams, along with many more plus things as well for you. Some custom content as well, some behind the scenes look. It's going to be a bunch of fun. If you don't want to do that, subscribing is completely free. It's also, you're going to hear about all this Knicks stuff. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Go Knicks.